Hello and welcome to United Designs, a series dedicated to creating movesets for Pokemon looking to enter the arena in Pokemon Unite. For today's episode, we take a look at a Pokemon that, ever since Slowbro became confirmed for the base game, feels like an inevitability. With a unique ability, incredible design, and competitive potential that far outweighs its Johtonian counterpart, today we're talking Galarian Slowking. Galarian Slowking is a ranged defender who specializes in crippling its opponents with powerful hindrance effects, forcing valuable targets out into the open for its team to pick off or causing a potential assassin to make an early retreat from a team fight. In comparison to Slowbro, Galarian Slowking sports more damage potential and a much higher special defense stat, allowing for the devious mastermind to comfortably go toe-to-toe with attackers, but its lower defense and lack of a reliable disengage tool might make it difficult for Galarian Slowking to run away if a fight goes awry. Galarian Slowking will start each battle as Galarian Slowpoke, with it evolving into Galarian Slowking once it hits level 5. Galarian Slowpoke and Galarian Slowking will each have their own unique ability and basic attack effect, with Galarian Slowpoke being built more around early game survival and longevity, while Galarian Slowking is built more around working with its allies and being very tough to take down. Regardless of how they're built, both Pokemon are designed to deal with whatever the enemy team throws their way. Galarian Slowpoke's ability is Gluttony, which it also happens to share with fellow defender Snorlax. However, where Snorlax will receive an extra healing from berries, Galarian Slowpoke will instead be granted 30% more healing from all sources, be it berries, allies, or simply regenerating health while standing in spawn. With this spectacular ability in tow, Galarian Slowpoke can be an incredibly difficult Pokemon to fight in the early game if it's accompanied by the likes of Eldegoss or Blissey, but since Galarian Slowpoke lacks the self-healing effects of its Cantonian cousin and the benefits of Oblivious, one could argue it's the squishier of the two. As for Galarian Slowking, it will utilize its signature ability, Curious Medicine. With this, Galarian Slowking will be surrounded by a large purple circle, this effect growing when Galarian Slowking performs a special attack for a short time and disappearing once Galarian Slowking is either knocked out or turns back to spawn. On its own, this ability will simply grant Galarian Slowking a 50% resistance to status effects, but Curious Medicine's strength will truly become apparent when your allies take advantage of it. While standing within Curious Medicine's circle, allies will recover from status effects a whopping 75% faster than they would normally, and as an added bonus, the status effects of moves used by your allies will become 25% more potent if they use the ability within the circle. While this might not help to buff the effects of stuns and stat drops, Pokemon like Gengar, Cinderace, and Pikachu will be able to greatly increase the effectiveness of their hindrance effects. And considering Gengar's ability to maximize its damage against enemies with status effects, I can see these two Pokemon working very well together. Now, let's talk about the boosted basic attacks of these Pokemon, as like their abilities, these effects are designed both around general survivability and staying an active threat in a team fight. For Galarian Slowpoke, it will gain a boosted basic attack effect with every third attack, this having Galarian Slowpoke release an orb of psychic energy that will splash outward once it hits an opponent. This splash gives the move the potential to hit multiple opponents at once, and once it hits, the opposing Pokemon will be slowed for a short amount of time. Since Galarian Slowpoke lacks the push effects of its Cantonian counterpart, this could arguably be considered its best retreat option, as the only way you're going to effectively run away as this Pokemon is if the Pokemon chasing you is even slower than you are. As for Galarian Slowking, it too will gain a boosted basic attack effect with every third attack, this having Galarian Slowking strike the opponent with an explosive incantation. This incantation will appear as a large purple bubble over the opponent before it explodes outwards, dealing damage to all Pokemon in its area of effect and lowering their special defense for a short time. Since Galarian Slowking attacks its opponent directly as opposed to launching a projectile, this move can be used to catch your enemies off guard and open them up for the rest of your team, so if you can, try saving your boosted attack for when you open up on an enemy Pokemon. When starting as Galarian Slowpoke, the player will have access to both Confusion and Disable, with Confusion upgrading at level 5 when Galarian Slowpoke evolves into Galarian Slowking, while Disable will be upgraded at level 7. Confusion is a standard range special that will have Galarian Slowpoke release a weak telekinetic force that will move forward slowly from its point of origin. This force will release a wave of damage up to 3 times as it moves forward, with each wave growing in strength and size. If an opponent is hit by this move directly, the attack will explode on impact and spin the target around, causing them to lose control of their character for a brief moment. This move is a great way to help Galarian Slowpoke secure a potential early game kill against an over-aggressive attacker or push back a speedster transitioning from the jungle to its lane. But do keep in mind that this move won't start its cooldown period until the projectile has disappeared. As for Confusion's upgrades, the player will gain access to either Eerie Spell or Sludge Wave once they've hit level 5. These are designed to be Galarian Slowking's main ways of fighting back against its enemies, with one being designed around raw damage, while the other is meant to be a blend of damage and utility. As per usual, team structure is very important when it comes to picking which special you should use, but neither choice will restrict you from doing your job as the team's tank. Eerie Spell is a powerful hindrance special and Galarian Slowking's exclusive move. This move having Galarian Slowking summon up psychic energy from the ground in front of it. This font of power dealing damage and stunning all enemy Pokemon in its path. While its damage is surprisingly high for a move used by a defender, Eerie Spell also has the added bonus of making Galarian Slowking unstoppable during the move's long startup time. And if the player is struck by a special move during this time, the cooldown of the opponent's special will be increased by 3 seconds. Upgrading at level 11, Eerie Spell's range and damage will be increased, a standard buff that's commonplace amongst a lot of Unite's special moves. Sludge Wave is a crippling range special that will have Galarian Slowking launch a wave of poisonous sludge forward, this wave traveling a set path before disappearing. If an opposing Pokemon is hit by this attack, they will take damage and be struck with a poison effect, all before being dragged backwards by the force of the wave. This will also inflict a slow effect on hit, making it considerably harder for the opponent to run away should Galarian Slowking have teammates near it that can take advantage of this move's destructive effects. Upgrading at level 11, Sludge Wave's damage will be increased and cooldown will be reduced, and as an added bonus, this move's cooldown will be reduced by an extra 1 second for each opposing Pokemon hit by the attack. Now, let's talk about Galarian Slowpoke's other base special attack, Disable. Disable is a close-range hindrance special that will have Galarian Slowpoke release a debilitating blast of psychic energy right in front of it. This burst of power dealing damage to all nearby opposing Pokemon and stunning them for a short period of time. This is Galarian Slowpoke's main form of crowd control, along with its only form of peel, meaning that if you get jumped, this is your only means of getting out alive aside from your hold item. Still, for an early game stun, its fairly short cooldown makes it a great combo option. As for Disable's upgrades, the player will gain access to either Venom Drench or Imprison once they've hit level 7. These are Galarian Slowking's main forms of crowd control, and both options are designed to mesh well with their level 5 damage options. So much so that they can be performed as a 1-2 punch to really pour on the pressure. It's best to go with whatever fits your team structure, as one works better with a team comprised of status effect users, while the other is better for a team lacking status effect users. Venom Drench is a crippling hindrance special that will have Galarian Slowking call down a wave of toxic liquid from above, it splashing in an area of effect right in front of them. This attack can hit multiple opposing Pokemon at the same time, and once hit, these Pokemon will have their attack power and speed reduced for a short time. This move can effectively be described as a get off me tool, as this move is at its strongest when pushing in on objectives and peeling enemy assassins off of your teammates. And as an added bonus, this move's duration and crippling effects will be greatly increased if the opposing Pokemon is inflicted with a stats condition. As a result, the more teammates you have that can inflict stats conditions, the better this move becomes in a team fight. Upgrading at level 13, Venom Drench's area of effect will be increased, along with its cooldown being cut down by 1.5 seconds. Imprison is a dangerous hindrance special that will have Galarian Slowking call up a wave of psychic chains around itself, these chains latching onto opposing Pokemon and snaring them in their grasp. However, instead of holding the opposing Pokemon in place, these chains will restrict these Pokemon from accessing their special moves for a short period of time. In this time, a set of chains will float around the afflicted Pokemon to show they're under Imprison's effects, the chains then breaking once the effect ends. Upgrading at level 13, Imprison's effect will be extended from 1.5 to 3 seconds, making it a much more dangerous tool when paired with Eerie Spell's ability to stun and line up a guaranteed Imprison hit. For the Unite move, Galarian Slowking will unleash the full brunt of their psychic abilities to overwhelm its enemies, all while mixing in a bit of its spellcasting prowess in the process. This is Hexperimental Incantation. When this Unite move starts, Galarian Slowking will begin to chant a strange spell, symbols appearing on the ground around it as they start releasing a series of psychic waves. These waves will damage and stun nearby opposing Pokemon, with Galarian Slowking releasing 3 waves in quick succession. After the final wave, Galarian Slowking will unleash a final blast of psychic damage, this blast dealing damage to all nearby enemies and dealing bonus damage if they happen to be stunned. Damage isn't the only thing this move brings to a team fight, however, for if any nearby teammates are suffering from hindrance effects, these effects will be transferred to the opposing Pokemon hit by this attack. It's now time to talk about Holowear, and surprisingly, designing one for Galarian Slowking was quite difficult, as it already looks like a devious mastermind, but after some careful planning, I've managed to come up with one that just might work. Introducing Costume Party Style Galarian Slowking. With this, Galarian Slowking will don a black cloak, complete with long flowing cape and a hood that will go up over Galarian Slowking's head during certain animations. Top that off with an ascot and a masquerade mask and you've got a design that truly feels devious, which is more than fitting for a Pokemon like Galarian Slowking. And with that, this design is complete. As I said before, Galarian Slowking feels like an inevitability ever since Slowbro got confirmed for Unite, especially thanks to the unique playstyle they can bring to the table. But as of now, I have no idea when we can expect them to become playable. As of recording this, the first anniversary celebration of Pokemon Unite just got announced and we know of 3 Pokemon that are coming from late July to mid-August. But we don't know the 3 Pokemon they have planned to release throughout the month of September. For all I know, Galarian Slowking could be one of these Pokemon, but we won't know until we get more information in the coming month. Anyways, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to subscribe and click that little bell icon so you never miss a future upload. Also, be sure to let me know which Pokemon you'd like to see enter the arena. Just be sure to keep requests civil and not have it become the majority of the comment section. And with that, I'll be seeing you soon. So until then, take care and have a good one.